All right, well, welcome to the Local Lead Ninja training. I'm not going to talk a lot about myself today, but I do want to give you my email address so that we can get connected on LinkedIn, and I'll put that up again at the end of the training. The main reason I show this screenshot is to show you that I've been a member of LinkedIn since 2005. I really grew up on LinkedIn as a headhunter and a recruiter, so I'm a little bit different than most marketing people, and most LinkedIn experts have kind of jumped into social media when it kind of hit the bandwagon, and I've been on LinkedIn for a long time before that, and I've had my book do really well on Amazon and NBC and CBS and daytime TV, all for the success that I've had specifically on LinkedIn. And this training today is very focused specifically for local offline marketers and to help you get leads. It can be adapted for any sort of lead generation, but if you are doing any sort of local offline marketing, you are in the right place. So I want us to start by imagining that if we didn't know that LinkedIn existed, and James or myself came to you and said, I want you guys to imagine a platform out there that's full of business owners. In fact, there's over 140 million business owners on this online platform, and the average income is over $107,000 a year, which means these business owners have money to spend on your services and your products. And the best part is that there's almost no one using this platform to generate leads in a big way that can turn into a 4- or 5-figure paydays. And the platform is completely free. It's easy to use once you learn how to do it, and it's right there in front of everyone's face, yet no one is using it to really generate massive and profitable leads the way I'm going to show you today. If someone came to you and said that to you, you would be very excited, I'm assuming, and jump all over it. And that's what I'm here today to tell you about, what LinkedIn can do for you. I'm just curious just to do kind of a leveling of our audience here today. If you're on LinkedIn already, if you at least have a profile on LinkedIn, go ahead and type yes into the chat box. If you don't even have an account on LinkedIn at all, go ahead and put no into the chat box. And this will just kind of give me a little bit of a benchmark as to whether or not we need to talk about kind of what LinkedIn is and isn't. And there's a lot of misperceptions out there, even for people that are on LinkedIn. So we'll talk on that a little bit. Looks like about 75% of our audience, which is now about 200 people, are on LinkedIn already. So the general answer when you ask people what is LinkedIn is it's kind of like the Facebook for professionals, right? But it's really not. It's really not the interactive platform that Facebook is. It's really not a networking site or a social networking site, the way a Twitter or a Facebook is. The main reason that LinkedIn exists, and what the majority of the people that are on LinkedIn and have that income are doing, is they're using LinkedIn to search for talent. Now, that talent could be for hiring. That's kind of how LinkedIn got its start, and it certainly still has strong roots in the job search market. But also that talent can be looking for outsourcing talent, looking for partnering talent, looking for consulting talent. Talent is people who can help your business. And don't just take my word for it that that's how people are using LinkedIn. Let's look at a few case studies here where people specifically talk about using LinkedIn to find talent. So what if you were the talent? Well, that's part of the mindset you need to have to succeed on LinkedIn, is that you are the talent that people are coming to LinkedIn to look for. LinkedIn is closer to a business directory that leverages who you know and recommend. That's how I would describe LinkedIn when asked. So what talents are people looking for on LinkedIn? Well, they're looking for B2B services. That's services sold from one business to another. That's what we mean when we say B2B services. And why is LinkedIn so popular for B2B services? Well, LinkedIn is a search engine for finding people. And it's the people that run service companies that make service companies successful, that make or break service companies. If you think about your niche and your competitors, you probably all have websites that are pretty similar. But so what actually differentiates one local SEO company or one SEM company from another is the people that run the company. What are their personalities? What are their skills and their experience? And that's what people are coming to check out on LinkedIn. That's why there are people already looking up you on LinkedIn. And your LinkedIn presence may be helping or hurting you already. The other part of the LinkedIn search engine is that it's an easily geo-targeted. It's easy to find people in your local area who can help your business. And I should note, if you're a local marketer, this means you can easily target not just the market you're in, but if you're in a market that doesn't have a lot of local business, you can easily geo-target any market that you want to move to in LinkedIn. So as an example, SEO Tampa, that phrase averages 155 searches per month. Now, when they're searching on LinkedIn, they're not searching for information about how to do SEO. That's not on LinkedIn. They're searching for people that can do SEO that are in Tampa. That's why they would be running that search in the first place. And that's an example of a search that you would want to show up in if that's your local market. And of course, you're going to adapt this for whatever your specialty or your local market is. But that's what I'm going to show you how to show up on today. Here's some of the most popular searches on LinkedIn. And I'm just curious, if you guys do any of these, go ahead and put into the chat box which of these services you provide. Or if you provide a different type of service or have a different type of product altogether, I'll put that into the chat box just so I can get an idea and help you get the most out of today's training. And again, it doesn't have to be localized. You just have an added advantage when you're localized with what you're doing. But any of these areas, these are some of the biggest areas. And I'm seeing we've got here today a mix of people that do SEO, web design, local mobile marketing. Then we also have financial services, mortgage products, investors that are here, in addition to speaking and training and coaching. That seems to be kind of the blend that we have here today. And so with what I'm going to be showing you here today, these topics are going to be kind of the case studies and the examples that I'm going to show you. These are local offline marketing services that do very well on LinkedIn, that a lot of people are searching for on LinkedIn. But you can easily take and adapt this to whatever type of service you provide. It seems like most everyone who's here is B2B, meaning, again, you provide services to other business owners. So in the B2B space, in the local marketing space, it's not uncommon for people to be finding 3 to 5 deals or new clients a month from LinkedIn. Some consultants are getting as much as 75% of their business from LinkedIn now. And so LinkedIn is really perfect for you if you provide any of those services we just showed you, or if you can outsource any of those services. You don't actually have to provide them. You can just be the middleman. And even if you don't provide any of the local marketing services I've just shown you, what I'm going to show you today is how LinkedIn itself can become a whole new revenue stream for you, and also how you can do all of this right through LinkedIn. So you can easily provide these B2B services by outsourcing them back to other people that will do the work as well, and just be the one who finds the clients here today. Just as far as myself, I use LinkedIn in my business to generate over 2,000 leads per week. That results in me getting 45 new clients a week. My average client spends at least $400 with us, and so it's $20,000 per week in revenue that I'm generating through LinkedIn. Now, I don't show you my shopping cart screenshot to show off. I just want you to see that this is real legitimate dollars that are being made through LinkedIn with what I'm doing. Now, there are 3 main strategies that I use in my business. I do a lot with LinkedIn groups, using a strategy I call the faucet, where you set up your own group on LinkedIn. And that's probably something that's the least applicable for the local offline marketing niche. This would be something more for you to set up for your actual clients as a strategy. So we're not going to talk about that today, although that's one of the primary strategies I use. What we're going to talk about today are 2 strategies that are very specific for the local offline marketers. And I'm going to show you within these strategies exactly what I do and say to get clients to pay me for B2B services. And you can adapt this to any B2B services. I'm also going to show you, as you're doing this, for your own practice and your own business, I'm going to show you how you're at the same time building the skills so that you can go out and do this for others on LinkedIn. And going rates for LinkedIn consulting or to do a LinkedIn profile is about $300 per hour. And everything that I'll be showing you today, you can do it all right through LinkedIn. So there's no cold calling, no emailing, nothing else needs to take place for you to get the clients and get the leads for those clients, as you're going to see today. So the two strategies that work best for local marketing, and again, the real value in this is that there are so many different things you can learn about and do on LinkedIn. You could pick up a book on LinkedIn and read for hours and days about different things to do on LinkedIn, and they're all good things to do. But the challenge is what works best. So what I'm giving you today is specifically what's proven to work best for local offline marketers and for B2B services. I'm going to give you this Ninja networking system, and then I'm going to show you how to do SEO, search optimization, inside of LinkedIn so that those people that are looking for you will find your profile and will want to hire you to do those services for them. So I want to start with the Ninja networking approach. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about my daughter that really is a nice metaphor for the lesson that we need to learn about how to use LinkedIn. So my daughter just finished the 5th grade this past year, and up until this year, my daughter had never been in trouble at all. She's always been a wonderful student, polite little girl. This year, when she was in 5th grade, in the very first week of school, my daughter came home with a note from her teacher that said she was being written up for talking too much in class. Now, I should also mention that my daughter this summer and previous summer as well, these last 2 years, has decided for the summer not to go to camp. She wanted to stay home, and I work from home, so she wanted to spend more time with me, which I absolutely love. And when I would do these webinars every month or so, she would sit in a room with me and kind of listen, and I really didn't think she was paying any attention to LinkedIn webinars, but she must have absorbed some of this through osmosis. Because when I asked her, I said, honey, what is up with you getting in trouble for talking too much in class to the person behind you? You know what she said to me? She said, Daddy, I was networking. Now, I just about fell out of my chair laughing when she told me that. And if you think that's funny too, go ahead and put LOL into the chat box. Because clearly to us as adults, that's not networking. And I'm glad to see lots of LOLs pouring in here. I mean, I think we can see how a child would maybe hear me talking about networking and try to put 2 and 2 together and think that just talking to the person behind you is networking. But that's clearly not networking to you and I. Now, I talked about this with my daughter, and it was later that night in the shower. That's where a lot of my best ideas come to me. That's when I started to realize, you know what? Most business people that are using LinkedIn are basically doing the same thing my daughter's doing. They're just talking to whoever comes along. Whether it's on LinkedIn, if somebody sends you an email and wants to network with you, you feel obligated to respond, right? Or maybe it's on Facebook or Twitter, or maybe it's in the offline world. If you go to a networking event or your Chamber of Commerce, somebody talks to you, you talk back to them. And really what you're doing when you're doing that is you're networking at a 5th grade level. It's not truly networking unless you have a strategy and a system that you're following that's going to lead you towards the end result that you want. Otherwise, you're just randomly talking to people, and it's no wonder that your networking's not really working for you. So what I'm going to show you here today is a systematic way to network on LinkedIn that actually builds relationships with the right people, not just the random person behind you, and leads those relationships towards the client doing business with you. And not only will you get clients from this system, but if it's in the same simultaneous sweeping motion, you'll be generating leads for these clients all from LinkedIn. You are going to love this when you see how this system unfolds, and I go through each of the steps in this diagram that you're seeing here. So pay close attention to this. Be ready to write down your notes now. So here's what the Ninja networking system will do for you. You will be generating inbound inquiries about your services. It's always better when people are contacting you because they're pre-qualified, and also it's less of your time that you're having to put into prospecting when you're getting these inbound inquiries about your services. Also, this system will create the leads for your clients that they will want to buy and pay you for. And all of the work in this system can be done on LinkedIn without you having to talk to anyone. So the system starts with you identifying prospects in your local market, assuming that you're a local marketer. That's the example we're going to use here. And that's one of the beauties of LinkedIn. With 100 million members out there, there are lots of prospects, lots of business owners right in your local market. Now, what you're going to need to do is contact these local marketers through LinkedIn. Simply send them an email through the LinkedIn platform. But the problem or mistake that most people make is when they contact someone on LinkedIn, they basically send a pitch email that kind of says, well, you know, nice to connect with you. How can I help you? By the way, here's what I do. And that type of pitch is almost seen as spam on LinkedIn. People really tune out anything that's pitchy or soliciting like that on LinkedIn. And usually that's where things end on LinkedIn. And what you wind up with on LinkedIn is people that have collected up all these connections but aren't actually doing anything with them, aren't building any relationships with them, and certainly aren't getting any business out of them. So in this scenario, what we're going to do is create relationships that actually lead to clients and lead to us getting leads and business and revenue from those clients. So we're going to need to contact 100 businesses to start with. That's probably about an hour or two of work, and I'm going to show you exactly what to say. The reason this is a system is that it works consistently, it works repeatedly, it's something that I fine-tuned and tweaked, and what you're going to do is take down these messages I'm giving you, put them into MS Word, and you'll be able to use them over and over again. Let me read this opening message to you, and then I'll break down the strategy for you. This is the message you're going to send to 100 prospects in your local market, so business owners that you found on LinkedIn in your local market. So it starts with, I'm a local internet marketing consultant, but that's not why I'm contacting you today. So we're subtly plugging what we do, but not making this pitchy or spammy at all. What we go on to say is, actually, I'm looking for the top CPA in, and of course you insert your city, I'll say Tampa throughout the example since that's where I live. So I'm looking for the top CPA in the Tampa Bay area. CPA is Certified Public Accountant. So we're looking for an accountant that can help with our taxes. Can you recommend a great CPA here in the Tampa area to me? So what we're doing here is asking for a referral. And referrals are part of the nuts and bolts of what the LinkedIn platform is built on. And when someone's connected to you, there's somewhat of an obligation to them to interact with you when you're asking for a referral. And what we're going to do is we're going to play this out, and you'll see how this works systematically to generate leads for you. But just by starting a dialogue with people, you're differentiating yourself right away instead of pitching or spamming. But and that's why this works. It's not pitchy, it's not spammy. LinkedIn is based on introductions and referrals. So when you do this, there's typically a few responses you're going to get. You could get a response like this that says, yes, I do know such and such an accounting firm. They're great, and I highly recommend them. You usually get a few responses like that from your 100 emails that you send out. Next, your type of response you could get is, no, I don't have a CPA that I could recommend, or maybe I don't even have a CPA at all. I'm really surprised how many business owners don't have a CPA these days, or don't know what a CPA is. A Certified Public Accountant to help with your taxes is something that every business owner should have. So typically you'll get about 20 or 30 responses like this. This is actually the response we want and the most valuable ones. You'll see when we come back to this. Because, again, sometimes you'll get, no, I don't have one, and then some people won't respond to you at all. Let me go through a case study of a local marketer that I went through this scenario with. So Jonathan Green is a local marketer that I coach on LinkedIn. He went through this. It took him about 2.5 hours to send out the 100 emails, and this is typical of the types of responses you'll get. About 4 people said, yes, I know a CPA. They gave him a CPA's name and number. And by the way, you do not need the paid account on LinkedIn to do this or to do any of the strategies that I teach or recommend. So here, 4 people said yes. 29 people said, no, I don't have a CPA that I could recommend, or I don't have a CPA that I use at all. And then 67 people still hadn't responded at all. This was in the first week is all we were tracking this for. Okay, so now we're going to move to phase 2. Phase 2 is very simple. It's just another message that you have on your clipboard, saved in MS Word, and you're going to send this out to everyone who said no or that didn't reply. So it's about 96 out of 100 businesses you're going to send this second message to. Again, you're only looking at about an hour or so of work to do this. And as this unfolds, what you're going to see is in about 5 hours total, you're going to wind up with tremendous results. So here's the second message. I'll read this to you and I'll break down the strategy behind it. Every business owner should have a great CPA to help them with their taxes and other matters. I'm researching who the top CPAs are in the Tampa area, and I'll let you know what I find out if you'd like me to notify you. So this is what we're doing here is we're manufacturing a way to create value for those businesses that said no or didn't reply to us. By introducing them to a CPA, that's someone that can really save them money and put money in that business owner's pocket. That's a real valuable introduction for you to make. And so they're going to see you as someone who knows people in the local market, as somebody who's likable and trustworthy, not somebody who spammed them in any way. This is going to build a lot of goodwill with your prospects by offering to do this for them. And by the way, when you keep your word, when you offer to do something and then do it, that in itself is a huge way to build trust. And that's a big part of what we're trying to do here on LinkedIn is build trust and relationships with these prospects. Now, of course, you're going to identify who the top CPAs are through this same, if you go back to step 1, the 4 people that responded are giving you your short list of who the top CPAs are. So your research is already done for you in the same sweeping motion. And if all you did was stop here, this system would be worth its weight in gold because of the relationships you will build with those prospects. But we're going to take it up another notch now. And this is where this really starts to fall together, and you're going to love this. So what we're going to do next is we're going to approach the accountants. Here's the message we're going to send to the accountants that we got referred to. Remember, we had 3 or 4 accountants that were recommended to us. We're going to send them a message that says, I'm a local internet marketing consultant, but that's not why I'm contacting you today, right? That's our standard opener. I'm writing because I serve the local business community here in Tampa, and I happen to know of 29 local business owners who aren't working with a CPA or aren't satisfied with their current one. Remember the 29 people that said no, that they don't have a CPA or wouldn't even recommend the CPA they do have? Those are leads for the CPAs that we got referred to. Let's finish the message here. Of the business I polled who were satisfied with their CPA, you came highly recommended. I'd like to introduce you to those business owners who need a CPA. So the CPA is going to love this. There's no way they're not taking your call when you're offering to introduce them to 29 businesses. You could, in fact, even sell them those leads right out of the gate here. But what I would recommend you do is you use this to get in the door. Use this to build some trust. Because the number one reason any business owner, including the CPA, is hesitant to hire you to do their mobile marketing or their SEO or their SEM is they're just afraid you're going to rip them off. They've been ripped off before. They've paid people money and they never got a thing. When you come in the door offering to give them leads right from the get-go, not only does that build goodwill, but it shows them you're capable of generating leads. And by the way, you could just repeat this entire system and probably generate another 30 leads for them right through LinkedIn that they'd be willing to pay you for. And the reason I've chosen CPAs, Certified Public Accountants, in this as our target here is that they're a center of influence. They're going to be someone that if you get them as a client, they're going to be able to recommend you and introduce you to lots of other businesses in your local market. All right, are you guys following this? Put yes into the chat box if you're followed how this unfolds and how it all ties together, where you're getting the leads, you're building the goodwill, and you're delivering the leads to the accountant all in one sweeping motion. I'm seeing lots of yeses coming in here. Let's go back to our case study and just take a look at the results that Jonathan got. He did this one time. Again, it was about 5 hours of total work, copy and pasting, sending the emails from the system out. These are the results. So Jonathan got an in-person meeting with one of the CPAs who wound up buying the leads from him, the 29 leads, for $300 and became a client. He does the local offline marketing. By the way, he doesn't do any of the actual SEO work. He turns around and outsources all that work. He then repeated the process for the CPA to generate more leads, and the CPA has in turn recommended Jonathan to 53 other local businesses, and he now has all the leads he could ever want. He could repeat this process on LinkedIn to generate more leads if he needed to, but he hasn't even needed to. The one time doing this has worked so well, it set off a chain reaction to where he has plenty of referrals. Referral leads are the best leads of all, and he's getting those now from the CPA. Also, along the way, 21 businesses inquired into his services. When he went back to the business owners and said, here's the top 2 CPAs that you might want to consider, let me talk to you before and help you decide which one's the best one. He got 21 people responded and were interested in his internet marketing. Out of that, he wound up picking up 2 SEO clients and 1 social media client that are bringing in $2,500 a month in revenue. And again, he doesn't do any of the work for that $2,500 monthly. He turns around and outsources that. And here's the real icing on the cake. 5 people that he interacted with during this process turned around and asked him to do their LinkedIn profile. They liked what they saw on his LinkedIn profile, and he was able to do their profile the same way that he had done his own profile, and that generated another $1,800 in revenue. So if you add that all up, doing the Ninja Matchmaker system one time generated $4,600 in revenue in 30 days, plus $2,500 in monthly recurring revenue. This really could be your entire marketing plan in a box by doing this. It works best for local offline marketers, but it can be adapted to any sort of B2B service. The key is where you're asking for a referral up front instead of pitching yourself. So again, this could be your entire local marketing plan in a box. And this is the halfway point of our presentation here. This is not the end. I would hope that if this was the end, you'd be pretty excited about what you've learned today. And what I'd like to ask you to do, just to get me fired up for the second half of today's training and yourself fired up, is I'd like you to put one word into the chat box that describes your feelings about the first half of today's training. And I'll go ahead and share some of these with you so that you can see some of the excitement that your fellow local marketers are having here. So Kristen says, wow, I see smart, interesting, potential, awesome, brilliant, selective, great, ingenious, overwhelmed. And don't worry if you're feeling overwhelmed. I'm going to show you some ways to make this a lot easier coming up. Worthwhile, brilliant, nice, great, interesting, creative, intrigued, excited. Too simple, says Gary. Unique, interesting, wow, eye-opening, buzz, wow, interesting, exquisite, unusual, enlightening, strategic, very pure. So lots of great feedback on the first half of today's training, and I thank you for that. That's only half of what I promised you here today, and I realize we're running a little bit over our time here. Oh, we're actually right at the halfway point, so we're doing good. So the second thing that I want to show you, the thing that works next best, today's all about what's worked best on LinkedIn, is doing search optimization within your profile on LinkedIn. So consider what you're not thinking right now. Consider that how important it is to be found on LinkedIn. In 2011, there were 4.2 billion searches on LinkedIn. That's billion with a B. And the people searching on LinkedIn, they're not looking for research on SEO. They're not looking for tools to do SEO. They're looking for people to do their SEO. They're looking for you. That's what people are looking for when they're searching on LinkedIn. And you want to come up in those searches. You want to be found on LinkedIn. The person that's searching for someone to do their SEO or do their mobile marketing or do their internet marketing, that person does not need to be convinced that they need those things. They've already made that decision. They're looking for who's the right person to help me do this. So they're very, very valuable leads for you to get in front of. Now, to be found, to get in front of these buyers and get inbound leads on LinkedIn, there are 3 things you must have in place. And we're going to go through each of these 3 keys right here today so that you can be found on LinkedIn and start getting these leads. So step 1 is you need to have an optimized profile. That's a fancy way of saying you need to show up at the top of the search results. Just like you would want to do in Google, you want to be at the top of the search results on LinkedIn when someone searches for what it is that you do. Now, LinkedIn tells you how well you're currently doing at being found. And it's important for you to look at this and be aware of how well you're currently doing at being found so that you can benchmark and you can see when things start to improve at being found. So what I'd like each of you to do right now, those of you that are members of LinkedIn, is I'd like you to open up your LinkedIn account, your LinkedIn profile in another browser tab. Open up another browser tab right now, type in linkedin.com, put in your username, put in your password, get yourself logged in. I'm going to show you how to find out how well you're currently doing at being found on LinkedIn. And it's important for you to follow along and see this now. You learn the best when you're actually doing things during any training. And this is kind of hidden on LinkedIn, so it's important for you to do it now so that you see really where this is and you'll be able to get back to it. Otherwise, you'll have a hard time finding this because they don't make it that obvious. So pull up your LinkedIn account in another browser tab and go to the Home tab on your LinkedIn menu. That's all the way to the far left. If you're looking at my screen, you'll see the red arrow there. All the way to the far left is what you click on to get into your Home tab and to see your LinkedIn benchmarks, your numbers. When you're on that page, on your home page, you want to scroll down the page a little bit and look to the right underneath the banner ad. And what you typically see is something like this. Your profile has been viewed this many times per day. Could say something like this one, what we saw before, 1 time in the last 30 days. That's not very good. That's obviously why you're not getting any business or calls or clients from LinkedIn. Now, to get your views to go up on LinkedIn, you need to show up in more searches. That's the second number that's there. And it might say something like this. You've shown up in 6 searches in the past 90 days. Again, to find this, you go to your LinkedIn Home tab. And what I'm going to ask you to do is put into the chat box how many views per day you average. So if yours says something like 7 views in the last 7 days, then your average would be 1 per day. Do the simple math, calculate your average per day. I'll share some of these results with you so you can compare to your fellow marketers. And then I'm going to show you how to get your numbers up to something like this. This is a good day for me. You'll see I showed up in 152 searches in 1 day and had 56 people view my profile in this 1 day. That's what's possible. And if I'm able to get numbers that high, there's no reason you can't get your numbers up to 5 or 6 per day. Right now I see Steve with 1 per day, Bonnie with 3 per day, Bill with 3, Jonita with 2, Mona with 1. And then we have some people with 11, and Sue has 6, and Bob has 4. Here's why these numbers are so important. These are views per day. So think about this in a typical month. You would multiply this number by 30. If you're being viewed by, if you're at, say, 2 views per day, at the end of a month, you're going to have 60 views. If you can get your views to go up to 5 per day, you're going to have 100 views at the end of the month. Now, it's not just about getting views. I'm going to talk in a little bit about how you convert those views into clients. That's equally important. But you got to start with getting the searches and the views. You got to get people viewing your profile in order to get those inbound clients. If you're not getting calls and clients from LinkedIn, it's because you're not getting views. So getting to the top of the search results on LinkedIn is not that complicated. There's 2 main steps. First of all, you need to develop a keyword strategy. Similar to you would do a keyword strategy from Google, but it's very different. In that on Google, you want to come up with all the different possible keywords, all the long-tailed keywords. On Google, it's really about coming up with as many possible keywords as you can. LinkedIn's algorithm is a little bit more simplistic. It's based on keyword density, but density means that the keywords that you want to show up with are divided by the total number of words in your profile. So you need to be efficient in how you use your words on LinkedIn. You don't want to just come up with masses of words. I'm going to show you a shortcut that I use in a minute that's going to make your keyword strategy really easy on LinkedIn. So what I use is word clouds to come up with the right keywords when we do LinkedIn profiles for clients. With a word cloud tool, and I'm going to give you the tool that I recommend, it's a free tool that will create these word clouds for you. What the tool does, it allows you to copy and paste any web page into the tool, and the tool creates this cloud of what are the most important words or the words that are used the most on that web page. So what you want to do is analyze the LinkedIn profiles of the people that are at the top of the search results for the words you want to show up for. Let that sink in. That's where you want to come up with your words, because all you need to do is outrank the top 5 people to become one of the top 5 people. So you're going to mirror and model the words that they're using. And what the tool does is it creates this visual reflection of the words in their profile, where the biggest words are the most important words. Now, maybe all the words that I've highlighted in yellow you already have. What you want to do is look for what are some of the other biggest words that I can use in here and add into my keyword strategy on LinkedIn. So the word cloud tool that I recommend is at wordle.net. It's a little bit of a hidden website, not a .com, it's a .net. Jane says this is easy and awesome. You're absolutely right. When you go to wordle.net, you just click on this create button, and you copy and paste all the text from the person's LinkedIn profile that you're trying to analyze, and you come up with the word cloud. And you take some of those words out of there. If you do this 5 times, and each time come up with 4 new words, now you've got 20 of the new right words that you need to have to get yourself ranking on LinkedIn for the right words. So Wordle is a great tool to come up with the right words. Now once you have those words, you need to take them and put them into strategic places in your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn assigns more weight to the words that are in certain places, and it's that weighted score, whoever has the highest weighted score shows up at the top of the search results on LinkedIn. Now here's the key to this, is you don't want to stuff too many words into these strategic places because it's keyword density. So density, again, means you're dividing by the total number of words. What I found works best is for you to have a 4-word phrase that you want to really rank for at the top of the search results, and only put those 4 words into these strategic places in your profile, and that should shoot you up to the top of the search results for that 4-word phrase. Now, this is going to get you lots of searches and lots of views. Next, what you need is what I call conversion strategies. And really, I consider this to be the formula for success on the internet as a whole, and it certainly applies within LinkedIn. You need to generate massive exposure. So that's filling your funnel with lots of people looking at your LinkedIn profile. But then you need strategies to convert that exposure into the results that you want, into clients. You want your profile to pre-sell clients and get them to contact you. And there's 2 main things you need to do in order to do that. First of all, you need to have calls to action in your LinkedIn profile. My copywriter has told me, Greg, don't bother having a website or running an ad if you don't put a call to action in it. You literally won't get any results or action. And I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to ask the marketing people that are here. Because with over 200 people here today, I'm sure we have some marketing people that know something about copywriting. What I'd like to ask you to do is put 1 word into the chat box that tells us how important is the call to action to a website or to an online advertisement or any advertisement. And I'll just share some of these results with you from all the other marketing people that are here. So Angela says it's imperative. Vicki says it's the #1 most important thing. John says it's essential. Ronnie says it's vital. Bonnie says it's wicked. Kristen says it's very important. Pat says don't waste your time without a call to action. Exactly. Helen says it's the most important part. Tony says it's 100% of everything. And it goes on and on and on. We have lots of people that know their way around marketing here today. Bill says it's critical. Gary says it's life or death. Claire says it's 100%. Harry says it's the heart of everything. Bill says it's critical. Roosevelt says it's essential. David says the call to action is the most important part. Valerie says it's the most important. Sue says it's mandatory. Mona says it's extremely important. Rue says it's crucial. And it goes on and on and on from every marketing person who's here. So let me ask you, how many of you have a call to action in your LinkedIn profile? Probably not very many, if any. And don't feel bad if you don't have a call to action in your profile, because I'm sure even the marketing people that are here are saying, oh my gosh, I just said it's the most important part of being online and I don't have a call to action in my LinkedIn profile. How crazy is that? You got to learn to build calls to action and build them into strategic places in your LinkedIn profile, and it'll make all the difference in the results you get from your LinkedIn profile. Now, you also want to have a brand built into your profile. Now, we hear a lot about personal branding these days. I'm sure it's a topic you guys have talked about before. What I like to look at in branding is understanding why people choose who they do business with. And from all the research and surveys that I've looked at, these are the 7 areas that come into play when someone's selecting a service provider or selecting someone to hire. And this is what you need to reflect through your brand. You need to have narrative stories in your LinkedIn profile that show your passion, your enthusiasm, your likability, your intelligence, your work ethic, and that you're trustworthy. If your LinkedIn profile is essentially the same as your resume, you are shooting yourself in the foot, because all you are doing is showing your skills and your experience, and you're not telling anything about these other areas. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people make on LinkedIn, is having it read like their resume. And this may already be costing you business. There may be people going to look at your LinkedIn profile and they're not seeing anything about these intangibles. You can learn to build these intangibles into your LinkedIn profile. You can look at my profile later on as an example of this. You can see how I tell the story of how I became the internet marketer that I am. That's what people want to read. A story is compelling, just like they want to know the origin of the X-Men or Spider-Man. I learned this from my copywriting friend Colin. They want to know the origin of you. How did you become an internet marketer? Tell them that story through your LinkedIn profile, and they'll now see you as the person that you've progressed and go on to become. Tell them stories that show that you're trustworthy. Here's what my profile says. It says, people always tell me I'm one of the most trustworthy recruiters they've ever interacted with. They tell me at times it feels like I'm trying to talk them out of taking the job, but that's just because I'm trying to find the best fit for both the job seeker and the client. You see how that's a story that embedded into it that I'm a trustworthy recruiter. I didn't say it, come out and say I'm trustworthy or just list these buzzwords. Nobody believes you if you say it, but the phrase I use, write this down and use it. People always tell me, and then plug some of these things in and tell a story. That's how you build a brand into your profile. That's the type of narrative that needs to be in your profile. If you're just like your website is not a brochure, your profile should read like your website. If you're an internet marketer or if you're a product company, you want your profile to read like your sales page. All of that same copy should be there in your profile. The third step that's probably the linchpin to everything on LinkedIn, not just to being found, but to everything on LinkedIn, is you've got to build a deep, rich network on LinkedIn. LinkedIn search is different than Google. When you search to research something on Google, you search every website that's out there in the entire world. They're all indexed in Google's database. When you search on LinkedIn, LinkedIn does have every person and profile indexed, but LinkedIn only allows you to search through your network and 3 levels deep of your network. So if you aren't connected, you're invisible to that person that's searching for you. This is the 3 degrees of separation concept, or the Kevin Bacon rule. If you're familiar with this concept, go ahead and put yes into the chat box. If not, I'll spend a little more time on this, put no into it. but I want to make sure that before we build on this concept that people are generally familiar with it. And I'm seeing quite a few no's here, so let's go through it real quick. So what we're talking about here is on LinkedIn, let's look at this case study, this before and after. This client came to me, they had 77 connections on LinkedIn, which is about average. So those 77 people are connected to 8,412 people. That's how many people are in those 77 people's connection network. So they're my second level connection. And then those 8,000 people have 250,000 people in their network. So it's that third level number. That's the number that makes or breaks you on LinkedIn. That's the number that needs to be much, much bigger for you to succeed on LinkedIn. Because 250,000 sounds like a lot of people, right? That's a big number. If you had $250,000, you'd be in pretty good shape. If you had a 250,000 Facebook fans, I think you'd be doing pretty good. But 250,000 people in your third level of your LinkedIn network is very small when you consider that LinkedIn has over 100 million members in the U.S. alone. So that means 99% of the people on LinkedIn are not a part of your network. Now, in contrast, in this before and after case study, I worked with this client, helped them build their network out to over 500 connections, and that gave them access to almost 47 million people. The third level number is the number we're talking about. It's critical to your success on LinkedIn is the level of reach that you have across LinkedIn. Remember this, let's say I'm a business owner and I'm searching for exactly what you do. I'm searching for local SEO. I'm searching for financial services. I'm searching for a speaker or a coach. And you are the perfect fit and you match every word I search for. But if I run that search and you and I don't share a connection in common, you don't show up in my search results. And you completely miss out on being considered for that opportunity. That inbound opportunity goes to somebody else because you didn't build that depth into your network. People always ask me on LinkedIn, Greg, is it about quality connections or quantity connections? And it's a good question. And listen closely to my answer here. In the end, LinkedIn is about quality connections. It's that one connection we're trying to get to who hires you as a client. But we're talking about speed here. The fastest way to build quality connections is to play the quantity game. If you're adding quality connections one at a time and that's it, that's going to take you forever. You're never going to get to success. If instead you're adding super connectors who bring lots of people to your network, now you're adding quality connections by 10, 20, 50, or 100. Super connectors are the key to growing your network rapidly, growing it at the third level. And it's the third level number is what we're talking about here. That the person with the most third level connections has a significant and substantial advantage on LinkedIn. So I'm an example of a super connector. What that means is when you connect with me, the instant you connect with me, my 17,000 connections on LinkedIn instantly become your second level connections. And their connections, which is over 4 million people, become your third level connections. So you add 4 million people to the depth of your network by connecting with me. Now, I'm not telling you this so that you'll connect with me. In fact, I'm at the maximum number of connections you can have on LinkedIn right now, which is 30,000. I will be clearing up some room for my clients to be able to still connect with me. But I'm telling you this so that you understand the importance of adding super connectors. And even better yet than you connecting with me, I'm going to show you right now how to find super connectors in your local market or in your industry. The guy who knows everybody in town or everybody in your business, that guy or girl is on LinkedIn with all their connections. And the minute you connect to them, you get access to their entire Rolodex. You need to find that person. And I'm going to show you how to do it. You go into the advanced search field that we talked about earlier on LinkedIn. And you're going to type in words related to your industry or niche and your zip code. Here's the trick that most people don't know. After you get the search results, you can change how you sort the results. And what you want to do is sort it by number of connections. This ranks the list in order so that the person with the most connections is at the top of the list. The top 5 people on this list are people you need to send invitations to and get connected with. They probably know everybody in your town or everybody in your business. You want to add lots of super connectors to your network because each super connector brings millions of people. And in those millions of people, there's going to be 10, 20, or 50 quality connections for you. The fastest way to get to the quality is to play the quantity game and connect with super connectors. And you need lots of super connectors, because it's tempting to think, well, if I add you, Greg, that brings 4 million people to my network. All I really need to do is add 10 people like you, Greg, and I'll have 40 million people in my network. It doesn't work out that way, unfortunately, because there's a lot of overlapping connections amongst all the super connectors. So to really expand your depth, you need to add lots of super connectors. You should make it a goal to add 100 super connectors to your network in the next 30 days. It might take you 30 days of working at this, an hour a day, or 3 or 4 hours a day for the next week to do it. But it will be so worth it. I promise you, it'll be worth its weight in gold. Everything else on LinkedIn will work so much better for you once you fill up your network with lots of super connectors. We're only talking about adding 100 people here. We're not talking about adding thousands of people. 100 strategic people, meaning super connectors, will explode your network. It's like putting premium gas into your sports car. You have a sports car at your disposal right now. You have LinkedIn at your disposal, but it's not going to go anywhere without gas in the car. That Ninja Matchmaker system I showed you, it's not going to work for you unless you have lots of people that can be your prospects, and you're not going to have them unless you have the deep network. And you want the inbound leads coming to you. You get that by having third level reach. Depth in your third level is the most important concept for you to understand about LinkedIn and for you to build on LinkedIn. Now, even better yet, the holy grail of networking on LinkedIn is for you to become a super connector in your industry or in your niche. Read with me here about what happens once you become a super connector. People in your industry now will want to connect with you to get access to your large LinkedIn network. And this means you won't ever have to spend time networking again. Every day, people will be connecting inbound with you. Just like you guys are all going to connect with me here today, and through that action, your friends are going to discover me, and they'll connect with me. And it snowballs perpetually. It flows inbound to me. My network grows every day, and I never have to lift a thumb doing any networking again. I can spend my time doing more strategic things, or spending that time at home with my daughter for the summer. It's been a great summer. And you don't have to grow as big as me. You just need to become one of the most connected people in your niche, in your industry. And you'll have 5 or 10 new connections flowing inbound to you every week. That way you won't ever have to spend time networking again. That's the highest level of success on LinkedIn. And there's a lot that goes into becoming a super connector. But one of the most important goals is to have a network rich with connections in your industry. And you've already committed to doing that back in the previous step. So you're on your way to becoming a super connector. That's why I want to make you aware of this. I realize a lot of you may never get to this level of success on LinkedIn, but it's important that you have a target, something that you're working towards as a goal on LinkedIn. Because once you get there, the beauty is once you get there, you're there. And now there's not any ongoing work that you need to do. It's not a lot of work or maintenance to maintain a big network. And now everything flows inbound to you. Now imagine this. What if I could add 500 of the best super connectors to your network all at once, saving you all this time and effort of having to go out and find super connectors and exploding your network into the multi-millions instantly? Now, if we did this, LinkedIn would work so much better for you, just like in the case study we just saw. And imagine this as well. What if also you could watch over my shoulder as I do everything you've learned today, step by step on LinkedIn, with me going through these steps, and you with your own eyes watching, pausing anytime you needed to, and doing it as I'm doing it. And what if also you had my easy-to-follow blueprint on exactly what to do and say on LinkedIn. And I trained you on how to do this over a 5-week period. If I give you my scripts on how to do the Ninja Matchmaker system, you'd be able to do that. If I give you my connections, you'd be just as connected as me. And if I show you how to do all the right things on LinkedIn, that's what we have created in this Linked Ninja program. It's a combination of training and coaching to get you going to profits ASAP while equipping you with the tools to quickly turn LinkedIn into a six-figure part-time endeavor. Not only will you be getting new clients from LinkedIn, but you'll be able to do LinkedIn profiles for your clients as a service now. To enroll in the Linked Ninja program, you want to go right now to ilovethisoffer.com/linked-ninja. It's linked-ninja is the ending part of that URL where you want to go right now to claim your spot. And James is going to drop that into the chat box for you so you can easily copy and paste. But before you go to this website, consider why you want to do this. It's about you getting more exposure and views on LinkedIn with an optimized profile. And that's going to lead to you getting inbound inquiries from pre-qualified clients, saving you from the grind of prospecting. And it's going to result in your LinkedIn profile pre-selling clients on selecting you. And with your impressive LinkedIn presence, clients will ask you to do their LinkedIn profile for them without you needing to do a thing. So how much is it worth to save yourself the stress and time and energy and money of trying to do all this yourself? How much money are we putting into your pocket by giving you this unfair advantage of getting to work directly with me to have your LinkedIn presence be at the top? If you want proof that our Linked Ninja program works, we now have over 350 comments from clients singing our praises on our blogs. And that's why we've been featured in the Wall Street Journal and on NBC's daytime TV show. You can become this person at the top of the LinkedIn search results. You will become this person with your views increasing 5 to 10-fold of the right people viewing your profile every day. And I want to remind you of something you already know. LinkedIn is not going to work for you until you build depth into your network. That's the key to getting everything working for you. And if all we did was connect you with the right super connectors, our program would be worth 5 times the investment in what it costs. You only get 3,000 invites on LinkedIn lifetime. And if you burn through those invites with the wrong people, with people who don't accept, if you send those invites to super connectors and they blow you off, you're wasting your 3,000 invites. We've already partnered with the top 500 super connectors on LinkedIn, and they've agreed to accept invitations from all of our clients. That's who we're going to be connecting you with when we give you our super connector list. That's going to save you all the time and effort of having to hunt and peck and find these super connectors on your own and hope that they connect with you. So here's exactly what you get with the Linked Ninja program. You get all 3 of the proven systems Greg uses to generate 45 new clients a week from LinkedIn. Plus, I'll personally ensure your success on LinkedIn. So you get the Ninja Matchmaker program in detail. I'll go through this much slower and much more detail with more examples, and I'll give you the scripts so that you can just easily copy and paste and start doing this with exactly the right wording that's proven to work best. It's so easy, says my client David Schloss, who does local marketing in the real estate niche. These easy-to-implement strategies will give you more leads and clients than you'll know what to do with. That's what I expect to hear from you. Next, I cover LinkedIn SEO. I show you all the secret places to put your keywords to instantly get to the top of the LinkedIn search results, and then how to turn around and do this for your clients, making as much as $300 an hour. I show you what types of clients you should go after that are valuable and will want to get to the top of the search results, because it's not everyone. Then I show you my very best strategy for lead generation, the faucet. This is like turning on a water faucet on and off. Anytime you need more leads, you'll be able to use this LinkedIn group strategy to drive more leads into your business. This is the strategy I use personally to generate 2,000 leads a week for my webinars. Once you've completed these first 3 modules of the training, LinkedIn will become a new revenue stream for you. You'll have the skills to do what Jenna did. She says, once my contacts see my profile, they ask me to do their profile, and I make an easy extra $1,200 a month for a couple hours of work. That's what I want for you. Now, part of doing a client's profile is optimizing them for conversion strategies that sell. This is the part nobody else really talks about, copywriting inside of your LinkedIn profile. I'll show you how to craft calls to action into your profile and where to strategically place them. And I'll show you the one thing every profile must have to be successful, and almost no one does it. And I give you my fill-in-the-blank personal branding for LinkedIn. Just like that story I gave you today, that's actually a template that you'll get that you can use to create your own brand and stories in your profile. So you're going to have everything you need to generate massive exposure on LinkedIn, as well as the conversion strategies to convert that exposure into clients. That's the key to success on LinkedIn, having both the exposure and the conversion strategies. In the next module, I show you how to have success as a super connector. I show you exactly what you need to do to become seen as a super connector in your local market. This is the highest level of success on LinkedIn, and I'm going to get you there in this module. This way you won't ever have to spend time networking again. Everything will flow inbound to you. Next, I cover LinkedIn list building. Internet marketing always sounds like it'd be so easy if we just had a list of internet buyers, right? Well, that's essentially what you're building on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to build a list, how to use autoresponders right through LinkedIn, and why people will open your messages because they're coming from a trusted source like LinkedIn. You'll be building your list as you're doing all of this on LinkedIn. Once you have that list, you can use that for affiliate offers. You can use it for webinars. Take a look at Carrie Wilkerson, a mentor of mine who I helped with one of her launches on LinkedIn. Greg added over 313 registrations to my email list and to my sales webinar in 1 week using LinkedIn. Think about if you could do that for internet marketing clients. They would gladly hire you to drive traffic to their webinars or to their lists. Next, I cover advanced recommendations. Recommendations are critical to your success on LinkedIn. A lot of times we're starting out new and don't have any recommendations yet. I show you what to do when you're brand new to get your first 5 recommendations immediately, and how to use those recommendations to drive traffic into your funnel and your LinkedIn list. In the last module, I show you how to build a sales force through LinkedIn. This is one of the most underutilized and simplest concepts for you to put together. There are tons of web design firms on LinkedIn that do not offer local marketing, and they would love to be able to offer it through you. And they can become your sales force out there, just like they did for my client Brett. He says, I have successfully used LinkedIn to find and develop business partners to resell my white label SEO programs. LinkedIn is a gold mine for developing partners. So that's 8 modules total that gives you step-by-step strategies proven to work for business-to-business lead generation. These are the best ways to put cash in your pocket on LinkedIn. And I'm also including my personal help to ensure your success. What do I mean by my personal help? Well, I'm willing to cut our program price in half for you guys because I'm willing to bet on you. I'm willing to work with you to help you close your first deal where a client wants you to hire you to do your LinkedIn profile. And I'm confident that you can do this, especially with my help, and that we'll make more money on the back end doing this together. That's why I'm discounting the price and offering to work with you to help you close your first deal. Now, after you close your first deal with me, and you don't have to use me to do this if you don't want to, if you're more experienced, but some people need this help. What will happen is you'll set up a 3-way call with one of your clients. I'll show you how to get the client and get them onto the call using all through LinkedIn. You'll set up the 3-way call. I'll close the deal for you, and we'll split the first one 50-50, and we'll record it for you so that you have that for your own training purposes going forward, and you'll be able to do this on your own going forward. That's why I'm discounting the price program to half price. But that also means space in this program is extremely limited. Since I'm going to be taking my own time out to work with your clients, I certainly can't do that for everyone. And by the way, I don't offer any other internet marketing, local marketing services anymore. I only do LinkedIn profiles. So I'm not looking to steal your clients or siphon off any business. I'm there to close them for you, and you'll do their LinkedIn profile. I'll train you on how to do it, and it only will take you about an hour of work to do that, and they'll gladly pay you between $300 and $900 just to set up their profile for SEO and for conversion strategies and to get access to that super connector list that you'll have. Take a look at the case study we saw today from Jonathan Green. It says, Greg's LinkedIn training is my marketing plan now, and it puts money in my pocket every week. That's what I expect to hear from you. That's why I'm willing to bet on you and give you the program for half price, only $297 today. But you need to go right now to claim your spot to ilovethisoffer.com/LinkedNinja. If you go right now, you'll get the very best price we've ever offered this for, or ever will offer it for, and you'll get my complete guarantee of your satisfaction. If for any reason at the end of 30 days, or for no reason at all, this hasn't worked for you, just let me know. We'll gladly refund your money. I only want people in this program that are serious about doing this and that are going to work with me to make more money with me on the back end with this. I want to help you grow your business using LinkedIn. I want to build the case studies and build my reputation in the local marketing niche. That's why I'm offering to do this with you. So when you get to that website, here's the steps for checking out. You've got to first just click on the acknowledgments here. That's pretty generic, straightforward stuff. Next, you'll fill in your payment information. It is done through PayPal, but you don't have to use PayPal if you happen to not have PayPal. You can purchase with any major credit card. You just click on this link down here that says don't have a PayPal account if you don't want to use your PayPal account and just want to pay through your credit card. Payments are processed through Rapid Crush. That's what you'll see the charge on your account for. That's Jason Fladley company. He's my partner in producing this program, and he backs the entire program, and you get his support once you're in the program as well. Now, what if I'm brand new to LinkedIn, Greg, is a question I'm seeing quite common in the chat box here. And I'd ask, by the way, that you still continue to hold some of your questions for now until we formally open the Q&A in just a little bit. But I have seen this coming in quite a bit. There were a good 20% of people here today said they're not members of LinkedIn at all yet, and a lot more of us are maybe new to LinkedIn. Well, don't worry if that's your case, because I have another training course on the fundamentals of LinkedIn that normally I sell separately. As part of our bonus today, doing this with James, I'm going to include that at no extra cost for you guys. So this training program focuses on what you need to know and do to succeed on LinkedIn to get the most money in the least amount of your time and work and efforts. This is for people that are newer to LinkedIn. If you're fairly familiar with LinkedIn, you probably won't need this, but you still may want to go through it just to see how to set up everything right. So I walk you through setting up an account from scratch. If you don't have an account at all yet, you'll be up and running in 15 minutes with this. Next, I go through the LinkedIn mindset. There's a lot of misinformation out there, such as go be a go-giver. And that's really not true. You've got to, at some point, make it a give-and-take relationship. That's what a relationship is built on. So I talk through the proper LinkedIn mindset. This is a great module for everyone to go through. I go through the new user interface on LinkedIn because a lot's changed on LinkedIn. And I'll show you exactly which parts of LinkedIn you need to know about. Not teaching you everything on LinkedIn, but just what you need to know in order to have the fundamentals down so that you can easily and smoothly go on to the lead generation strategies that are in the core course itself. I'll show you how to use the advanced search to find your target clients. Things like Boolean logic are simple things once someone shows you that make a huge difference in finding your prospects on LinkedIn. And then my secret sauce video on LinkedIn. This is all the best secret tips and strategies that are out there, including I break down the whole paid account on LinkedIn that usually costs you $50 a month, and I show you how to get the same functionality without having to pay for it. So basically you're saving $600 a year. And so if all you did was get our program and do nothing with it other than have the paid account, you'd still be doubling the return on your investment. You'd be saving yourself $600 instead of paying $50 a month for the paid account. You'd have all of that same functionality at your fingertips, helping you succeed on LinkedIn. And because you don't need the paid account for any of the strategies that I teach. So do you realize the value in this training? This is the fastest path to success and profits on LinkedIn. You can do this. It will work for anyone. I've helped people in all parts of the world. We do over 200 clients a month between my local marketing practice and my job search practice on LinkedIn. Everything that I teach is backed on data and testing from having done so many LinkedIn profiles over the past 3 years now. And if you act right now, we're also going to include these bonuses. Normally there is an OTO, a one-time offer upsell, and a continuity program. I'm going to waive those and include those for you guys as part of our webinar special here with James at no extra cost. So instead of having a monthly continuity program that you have to pay for, I'm including 3 group coaching calls. So any questions you have about anything in the training, you'll be able to live interact with me once a month to get those questions answered. Also, I'm going to give you a certificate to have me personally review your LinkedIn profile. So once you go through the training and you implement everything, let me know. I'll look it over on one of our hot seat calls, and I'll let you know if you did anything wrong, or just make sure you did it all right and critique it for you, help you take it to even a higher level. And you can be there and watch as I critique other people's profiles as well, and you'll learn a lot from those hot seat calls. I also give you my LinkedIn service pricing matrix list. This shows you all the different types of services you can offer on LinkedIn and what the going rates are for them so that you're earning maximum dollars by doing LinkedIn profiles. This really is a business in a box. It has the services, the pricing for the services, the marketing plan, and how you're going to generate the leads for those clients all in one here. Also in my coaching calls, I keep you up to date on anything new that's on LinkedIn. Such as the Signal application. If you haven't heard of this app, you are really missing out on one of the most powerful tools that's out there. Take a look at what Forbes had to say about the Signal app. This new way to filter and present information poses a challenge to Facebook, Twitter, Google, and Microsoft. My clients that are in my monthly coaching program have known about Signal for months now, and they're way ahead of everyone else. It's a very powerful app. And my Super Connector list. I can't reiterate how valuable this is to have a list of super connectors that you can connect with, that you can connect your clients to as well, that have agreed to accept all the invitations from all of our members and grow our networks together, and so that you're not wasting any of your invitations. This alone saves your clients and yourself so much time and work. It's worth its weight in gold. So when you add up everything that you're getting here today, you're getting the entire LinkNinja training course for less than what it normally goes at $497. I'm also including our fundamentals training course for you. That's an additional 5 modules. You're getting the coaching calls, 3 coaching calls with me, group coaching calls. You're getting the profile critique certificate. You're getting the LinkedIn service and pricing matrix. You're getting a chance to partner with me to close your first client for you. And you're getting the LinkedIn Super Connector list that I personally put together over the last 7 years. You're getting over $1,500 in total value for only $297. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember, if you don't have a PayPal account, that's okay. This really is your opportunity to be found on LinkedIn. The writing is on the wall about what you should do next. But the opportunity is going to be washing away soon. You need to go now to ilovethisoffer.com/LinkedNinja to claim your spot in the program before we hit capacity here today. So what's left? Let's talk about you and what you've learned today and how this applies to your business. And if you have questions about whether or not the LinkNinja program is the right fit for your business, go ahead and ask those questions as well. I'm not afraid to tell you if I don't think you're a good fit for the LinkNinja program. The Matchmaker program, for example, that's ideally designed for local marketers. You can use the first part of it if you're in other niches like financial services or consulting or products. You can use the first part where you ask for a referral just to generate leads, but the end-to-end part where you're actually delivering the leads to the CPAs, that's only applicable for people that are in the business of selling leads. Now, any of you could probably add that to your revenue stream, and you'd be doing, it'd be a whole new revenue stream for you. The same goes for doing LinkedIn profiles for your clients. Any sort of coaching or training or speaking business, you'd be able to add that to it, and it could easily be a part of your business plan going forward. A common question I'm seeing from a lot of people is, what if I don't have any experience on LinkedIn at all? How would this work for me? And I do want to address that. And let me just put this a slide up as well, because a couple people were asking for a recap of everything that's included. So I'll just kind of put that slide up as we're talking about that, what's included, that is. But so if you're brand new to LinkedIn, if you're starting from scratch, here's one of the biggest challenges you're going to have is people are going to look at you and they're going to say, what's in it for me? Why should I connect with you? It seems like you barely know anybody. I want to connect with people that are going to bring other people into my network. And so that is part of the catch-22 that you have when you're starting out. Maybe people don't want to connect with you because you don't have any connections yet. How are you going to build any connections? Well, that's, again, part of what we solve by connecting you with our super connectors right from the get-go. That super connectors are going to give you an asset. You're going to have a network so that when you go to try to network with other people, they're going to look at you and say, well, I don't know if I want to connect with you right now, but sure seems like you know a lot of people here. Maybe I should connect with you just to get access to your network. And that makes a huge difference in the success of your networking. Another common question I'm seeing is, how much time will this take? It sounds like a lot of work, what you're doing here, Greg. So if you really break it down, the course itself is designed to come to you over a 5-week period. So you're going to get 60 to 90 minutes of training once a week over a 5-week period. Also, initially, you get instant access to that fundamentals training if you need to get up to speed on the fundamentals. After that, it's designed so that every week you spend about an hour, hour and a half learning, and then spend about an hour, hour and a half doing. So you're only really talking about 2 or 3 hours a week of work to get yourself set up here. And in week 2, we go right into the matchmaker strategy. So you can start making money with this right away in week 2. You don't have to wait till you have everything completely done. I give you the matchmaking system on a silver platter. I realize we went through it kind of quick today, and I give you those scripts that make it easy for you to copy and paste and say exactly the right things that are tested and proven to work best. So I do find people get overwhelmed if you just dive into the entire course right from the beginning. That's why we do it over a 5-week period now, where you're doing some, implementing, and then building on what you've just done. It's really important you get out of the mode of watching videos and just learning all the time and start doing this stuff so you can start putting real money into your pocket as fast as possible. Once you're up and doing it, the matchmaker system probably takes about 5 hours total. Initially about 2 hours to implement it. Then with the follow-up messages, you're looking about another couple hours of time. And as you saw in our case study, you really only have to do it once. And the referrals that you're going to get, the leads that you're going to get, can be enough to keep you busy ongoing forever from running through that cycle just the one time.
Hey, Greg, can I jump in here and ask a couple of questions here?
Sure thing.
I'm saying, Jim Hess has a unique situation where he has different businesses and different customer bases, and he wants to know, can he create multiple profiles in LinkedIn to address the different businesses and different customer bases?
Yeah, that's a very common question, so I'm glad you brought that up, James. So 2 things to start my answer to that is, number one is, it's against LinkedIn's terms of service to have a second profile. And you don't want to be investing in your LinkedIn presence and run the risk that they could shut you down on LinkedIn. And that's another thing, too, that comes out in the full Link Ninja training is, I'm going to show you exactly what things you can do, where you can push the envelope, and where you need to pull back so that you don't get yourself into trouble. LinkedIn is a publicly traded company, and they're very strict about enforcing their terms of service. That's one way that you can put yourself at risk. The other thing that I would ask you, just from a general business perspective, is, are you trying to be all things to all people? If somebody looks at you and says, well, you do SEO, but you also do real estate, you're going to start to wonder, how good can you really be at doing SEO if you're spending half your time doing real estate? So how do you solve that in your profiles? Because a lot of us do have 2 distinct separate businesses. We need both those income streams to maintain the levels that we want. So the solution is to set up separate groups and separate business pages for those separate businesses. The groups being the most important part. A lot of the strategies that we teach in the Link Ninja program are based on group building and driving leads into those groups. So that's your workaround. And in your profile, you're going to make your profile more about the brand of you, the person, that you're a trustworthy person, that you're a likable person, an intelligent person, and you're going to build your brand with those intangibles that are important to all or both of your businesses.
Well, Greg, I've got several people that are giving their individual industries and businesses, and they want to know how this can help them. And so let me run through a few of them I see. Number one, speaking and training services. Number two, authors and publishing. Number three, insurance business. Number four, this is really interesting, greeting cards for businesses. So legal services. Do all of these fit into this LinkedIn product?
The businesses that work best with LinkedIn are businesses that are targeting other businesses as opposed to other consumers. And just about everything I heard on that list is targeting other business owners. So your target audience is on LinkedIn. You are going to need to adapt some things. Overall, this program is geared towards local marketers. The matchmaking strategy, for example, is very specific for local marketers. But the group strategy, let me give you an overview of how this group strategy would work. And you'll be able to see how you can adapt this for all of those types of businesses that you listed there. What I'm going to teach you how to do is set up a group in a way where you name the group. Listen closely to this. You name the group, join here now if. And everything I teach and do is in frameworks. It makes it easy for you to implement this. Join here now if. And then you're going to plug in what benefits you would give to your target audience. So join here now if you want to learn about how to select the best financial advisor or how to select the best SEO person. Then what I'll show you how to do is go into other groups that have your target audience and invite those group members over to your group. And the act of them joining your group is pre-qualifying them as leads. By them joining the group, someone who's not interested in financial services isn't going to join a group that says, how do I select the best financial services advisor? And someone who's not interested in SEO or needs to be sold on the benefits of SEO is not going to join a group that says, how do I select the best SEO vendor in Tampa? So by setting up a group and naming it so that it pre-qualifies your leads, you can invite people all day long to your group. That's why I call this strategy the faucet. I literally, when we're going to run another webinar, I have my teenage son go into LinkedIn, find my target audience, and I turn the faucet on. I said, I need you over the next week to invite 1,000 people to my group. And every time he does that, a percentage of those people join and become pre-qualified leads. So that group system is one of the strategies that I teach in depth in the Link Ninja system, and it would apply to all of these businesses that are serving other businesses. Also for your local marketers, it's a great strategy for you to implement for your clients to help generate leads for them that you're charging them for.
Okay, great. And another question I just have is, does the paid membership allow us to make unlimited invitations to connect?
There is no way to get unlimited invitations to connect. 3,000 is the cap. There is a strategy that I show you in the coaching program how you can get a lot of more invitations once you've used up all your 3,000 invitations. But you need to be very strategic about how you use your invitations. I recommend you set aside 500 invitations for super connectors. That's seeding your network. And of course, we provide you with that out of the get-go here. Then you want to allocate the next 1,000 for networking with business prospects. And then you've got 1,500 left for the future because you never know how your plans or business are going to shift in the future. That's how I would recommend you use your 3,000 invitations strategically. Let me continue to go through the questions here, and if you see any, James, that you specifically want me to touch on, let's do that. I've seen a few people talking about different locations that they're in and essentially asking, will this work in getting international clients or clients from different countries? The core of the strategy is based on profile optimization with keywords. And that's why this works no matter where in the world you're based, because it's about putting the right keywords, coming up with the right keywords, putting them into your places, and then having people find you on LinkedIn. Out of LinkedIn's 180 million members, 100 million of them are U.S.-based, so almost half is non-U.S.-based. There's lots of prospects and clients out there on LinkedIn across all major countries. Let's continue to knock through some of these questions here. This one says, I just joined. When researching what type of local businesses are a good fit for LinkedIn, how do you determine that? And that's a good question. I want to welcome you to the program, by the way. And so if you're just starting your local practice, there's certain businesses that I'll show you in the training that are going to be more likely to be interested in having you do their LinkedIn profile than others. A lot of traditional businesses that are good for local marketing, like doctors or dentists, are not so good for LinkedIn. Not that they don't need a LinkedIn presence, but someone's not going to LinkedIn to look up who should I select as my dentist. They're doing that on Google. And so those prospects that are traditionally good for local marketing are not always as good for marketing to do LinkedIn profiles for them. And I show you which niches are very good for marketing to for LinkedIn profiles, as well as which niches are very profitable and successful on LinkedIn for all sorts of offline marketing.
Okay, and Greg, I got another one here that's it's a really interesting one. I want to get your take on this, and I've got a little spin on it, if you don't mind. Dan asked, my offline client buys jewelry, gold and silver in Houston. I don't really see people on LinkedIn wanting or needing to sell their gold and silver. Is it possible to bring in new customers for him via LinkedIn?
Okay, so your offline client is in a B2C business. And this is my thoughts and the mindset you really want to have about LinkedIn is even when you're in the B2C business, you're still really in the B2B business because most of the best B2C, business-to-consumer marketing initiatives are done through joint ventures and are done through partners. So what you're going to find a lot of on LinkedIn is other people that have groups or lists or newsletters or audiences that are marketing to the same people that your potential client is marketing to. And you can put together joint venture deals for them through LinkedIn. So even when you're in B2C, business to consumer, selling maybe diet products or jewelry in this case, you really want to think about what's my strategy for B2B, and that's what you want to be focusing on LinkedIn.
Greg, that was exactly what I was going to suggest. So great minds think alike. But really, you're swimming upstream when you're doing that. I mean, it's much better to make a connection with someone who has a ton of people who could possibly be customers than just to make a connection with one customer. I hope everybody gets that. It's so much more powerful to make connection with someone, an authority figure, an influencer, who can then connect with tens or hundreds of potential customers.
Yeah, and I want to give you full credit for that, James. I'm pretty sure I heard that from one of your webinars.
Great minds think alike, man.
So there's a question here, how do you determine the number of invitations you've used? And isn't this nice of LinkedIn? Not only do they not really tell you anywhere except in the fine print that you only get 3,000 invitations, but they don't tell you how many invitations you've used until you're down to your last 1,000 invitations. They really don't want to seemingly make this visible. And it's a big competitive advantage that you're aware of this. You can go into your sent items and count up your invitations. Really, it's more of allocating them strategically and using them strategically. Here's the trick to saving your invitations. When you network with somebody, when you meet somebody at a networking event or anywhere, even on LinkedIn, don't send them an invitation. Instead, send them an email. Even right through LinkedIn, you can send them an email that says, hey, I'd like to connect with you. Click on this link to come over to my LinkedIn profile and give them a link to your profile and send me an invitation to connect. This way, they're always sending you invitations to connect, using up their allotment, and you're always saving your allotment. It's only the person that sends it that's using one of their invitations.
Greg, I got another one for you, man. This one's another good one. Bonnie says, I sell a relatively new kind of financial product that businesses aren't aware of, so they most likely won't search for it. Can this training still help me?
Well, this is something I talk a lot about in the LinkedIn mindset training. Is your customers, or businesses, for all of us, not just Bonnie, but especially this applies to the local marketers here too. They're not searching for a local offline marketer. You've got to put yourself into the mindset of your customers. They are searching for things they need. And so you've got your keyword strategy isn't necessarily what you would call yourself, especially in Bonnie's case, nobody's aware of this particular product. But there are people out there searching for the things that they need, searching for investment strategies or tax reduction strategies. And there are people in groups, and they'll also teach you how to set up your own groups so that you have that target audience coming into these groups that are seeking general information about the benefits that you provide, and as opposed to searching out for exactly what you do.
And once again, you can also connect to financial services that are on LinkedIn that might be able to offer that product to their customers.
That's exactly right.
How do I find businesses on LinkedIn who need our services?
The advanced search that I trained you on is the best way to find your target audience. And then what you've got to do is determine, do they need our services or not? The easiest way to do that is to set up a group like I talked about and invite them over to this group. And if they join the group, they're expressing an interest in the benefits and the services that you provide, and they're worth your time to interact with. If they don't join the group, then the timing's not right. They're not interested in what you have to offer right now. And that same strategy would work for, I've seen some people say they're in legal, or if they're authors of books. Having this group strategy is going to drive leads into your funnel.
One of the things that I keep seeing in the chat is, or in the questions, is that I'm not interested in selling this to other businesses, and I just need this for my own use or whatever. But I think that once you see how simple this is, and you see how easy it is to market this to other businesses, it's something that you're going to see as a very easy, just extra income generator.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to want to do it to your own profile and your own LinkedIn presence, just for your own presence. And even if you didn't necessarily use the lead generation strategy, just the fact that people are looking you up on LinkedIn to look at your credentials, you don't know what type of business you might already be missing out on. Having your LinkedIn presence polished and designed with calls to action and a brand, which you're easily able to build in this course, it's going to help you get more conversions, more returns, more revenue out of all the existing traffic and leads that you're already getting.
Yeah, Greg, I know this much about LinkedIn. I mean, before this webinar, I knew this much, and I'm holding up my fingers that are about a quarter of an inch apart. I knew very little about LinkedIn. And this webinar, I probably have added about 300% to my knowledge. So I could just imagine how much more I would add with the training that you offer. And I can already see how this just opens up so many new doors in my marketing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of simple things that again we didn't have time to go to, that the Link Ninja training goes into. LinkedIn is a tremendous platform for piggybacking. If you have well-known people in your niche, it's very easy for you to optimize your own profile for that person's name and siphon off some of their traffic right at the very end when someone's looking to just check this person out before they buy. If they pull you up and then pull up that competitor of yours and then see you right underneath it, a lot of times they'll choose to come talk to you just to get a second opinion. And so that's another strategy that we get into. These are all things that you'll be able to do in the 5-week course. It'll take you about 2 hours a week to get it up and implemented. At the end of the 5 weeks, you'll have everything done. You'll be up and running, and you'll be getting leads for your business. Any sort of business-to-business B2B services especially are going to be very well suited and benefit a lot from this.
All right, I just sent the link out to everyone again. And can we go over just one more time? We only have a couple of minutes left here, but can we just go over everything that they get one more time?
Sure. So you're getting the core Linked Ninja training that has 8 modules in it. It includes the Ninja Matchmaker system with the scripts. It includes the group strategy that we've started talking about here today that usually we don't even get into in this webinar. It includes the SEO, the conversions. That's the Linked Ninja core training that you're seeing on the screen there, the first thing. Next, you're getting the LinkedIn Fundamentals training. This has 5 modules to bring you up to speed if you're new on LinkedIn. Additionally, the bonuses you're getting that are included for today's webinar only are the coaching calls with me. Instead of having to pay the monthly continuity program, you're getting a live coaching call with me with any questions you have, where I keep you up to date on everything new that's on LinkedIn, and we do case studies on people that have had great success. We learn a lot from that every month. You're also getting the critique certificate, where I go over your LinkedIn profile, put you in the hot seat, pull up your profile. This is after you've been through the training, and I just make sure you did everything right. And we'll go through a checklist, and I'll critique it, make sure you worded things and everything's clear right. Then you're getting the LinkedIn services and pricing matrix, which shows you all the different types of services you can offer your clients on LinkedIn and what the going rates are for those. I keep that up to date in the membership site as well. You're getting a chance to partner with me, where I will help you close your first client for you doing LinkedIn profiles. And you're getting our Super Connector list, where you're going to get connected to all the best people on LinkedIn. They've agreed to accept your invitations. That's going to explode your network and make everything else work so much better for you. Add it all up, it's $1,500.65 total value, and it's $297 today with the special link that you guys have for this webinar. I'm pretty sure there's a timer countdown that they put on there as far as how long that's going to last for. Yeah, I think it's 5 days they've made that available for.
Yeah, it's
right?
till Monday, probably Monday around midnight, I would say.
Well, I want to thank everyone for making this a very successful call today. Your interaction has been really well, and your participation throughout today has been really well. You've got a great group here, James. Thank you for having me here today. And I hope everyone enjoys opening day of football here tonight. That's where I'm headed next. And have a great week on LinkedIn.
Thanks for coming by, Greg. We really appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for coming on the webinar tonight. As Greg said, this offer will be open until, I think, Monday midnight. So, yeah, and this product used to sell for $1,500 or $1,565 at one time, and now it is at the price of $297, which is extremely reasonable. So thanks, everyone. I will go ahead and let's just go ahead and leave. If you just leave the link up here, and we'll leave the webinar open, and just go ahead and mute ourselves so you guys can check that out at your leisure. All right, thanks, Greg. If you can, yeah, that's good. Thanks, everyone, and we'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.